So, I finished Chronoquartz about 2 hours ago. I had to tell everyone about it first. So, spoiler, I loved this game. I found out through Reddit it's called a Metroid Brainia. Never heard of it. Found out I love the genre. It's by Infinite Stairs. And it released October 2nd, 2025. So I'm playing it about 20 days later. So, first of all, I'm going to start with the things I like because it was such a good game. The puzzles were really good. Like, none of them felt... Like, even the one puzzle I'd say that felt the most repetitive wasn't repetitive enough that I hated it because it required so much brain power to get it to work. But it wasn't, like, the puzzles never felt impossible. Like, I never thought, oh my god, well, actually, that's not true. There was one puzzle, but that was my fault. It was a user error problem. But there was no puzzle I felt was impossible. The only ones I felt impossible were because I forgot dash existed and you needed dash. But other than that, they all felt perfect. I'm not a good puzzle person. I don't do a lot of puzzles. I love puzzle games, but I am really bad at them. So when I found out there was a hint button, oh, I'm so happy there was a hint button, because the hints too. There's 3 levels of hints, which really reminded me of the Exit Advent calendar I had done, because it's 3 levels. So there's A, which is very limited hint. And it's like, it's very vague. You have to know like, you're gonna have probably seen it at this point, and you're gonna be like, okay, and? I already know that. And it makes you wait a minute between each hint, which bugged me sometimes when it was like, no, seriously, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I would need the second hint, which was usually enough. Usually it would give you, like, another reminder of, hey, this is connected. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, I get it. And then the third one is just a straight up, it's holding your hand, this is how you do it. Which is perfect, because sometimes you need that. For me, I'm not very good at puzzles. The second thing I love is that 10 turns is, like, when I first watched Alexa play it. That's how I found out about this game. Then I watched it. I was like, oh my god, I need to play this. But the 10 turns, when I heard 10 turns, I was like, 10 turns? That seems so limited. But it's not. Like, you can actually get a lot done in 10 turns. And it was insane. And later on, things happened, but the 10 turns was just, like, it was perfect enough to get you far enough to be able to be like, oh my god, this is where I need to go. Or, oh my god, that area has what I need. But also enough where it's like, hey, how do I get to the 11th turn in 10 turns, right? The next thing I liked is the first area, and this is also a small dislike, I guess. It's hand-holdy for the first couple... Probably the first, 10-20 minutes, I'd say. The first area, half of the first area, I'd say, is very hand-holdy. Because it's basically like, hey, this is what it's gonna be like, okay? This is what you're getting into. And I don't think it's really a spoiler. I'm not gonna say I don't want to spoil it at all. This is the non-spoiler area. So, there's one scene where it pretty much is just like, this is how you'd solve that puzzle. This is how you'd go do that. And it's not a hint, it just tells you how to do it. It will never do that again. I think it maybe did it twice the whole game. And one of them was like, it was like, yeah, it told you how to do it. And then you had to do it. The second one is, and my final one, this is the thing that, I lost my mind on. The true ending puzzle is incredible. What didn't I like about the game? I wish they told you earlier on there was a hint button. I wish that there was something that would have been even just a little pop-up on the wall or something that was like, hey, if you're stuck, there's a hint button. If there was, I missed it. Because I'm someone that really needs hints, and I wish I'd known about it. And then the only other thing is the dash button. You don't need the dash button for the whole game. You even get an item that pretty much just negates you needing the dash button for like a little bit. I needed the dash button, and I didn't know it to the point I forgot my game. I thought my game was bugged. I was searching online trying to figure out how to do it. I ended up just watching someone else play the game for the little part I was at because other people said they finished it, right? So I watched it and was like, oh, I need to dash. So here's my spoiler section. Leave, get out, shoo. Alright, I'm gonna go into detail about each section and how I felt about it. And this is spoilers. I'm gonna talk about shit that happened, okay? So if you don't want to know what happens, leave. Or go play the demo, and then come back and decide if you don't want to play it, you know? Or watch, like, the playthrough that I've uploaded, right? Like, decide before you do this. So, the first time I'm in the castle. When I was first in the castle, I was not sold on the game 100%. Unfortunately, had I not seen Alexa's playthrough, I don't know if I would have made it through the castle. Just because, I don't know. If the whole game had taken place in the castle, I actually don't think I would have recommended it. Unless it was, like, a really cool castle with, like, all these, like, really insane, like, stuff. But the castle, to me, was very boring. It introduces you to things, like, it really is a tutorial area, I'd say. Well, I don't know if it's a tutorial, but it really is to kind of introduce you into what you're about to get into. Important mechanics you're gonna need, like dash. Mostly, like, pulling stuff and how to push things. The red berries is super important. You think, fuck. Makes it super obvious, but you need it. But it makes it super obvious because of how important it is. Next is the forge. And I loved the forge. I thought... the thing I was referring to when I said the puzzle that gets too repetitive, but not to the point it gets annoying, is pretty much the whole forge. So, the forge is built of these bridges that on different screens will alternate on whether or not they're on. There's a key later on in the game. There's a key later on that shows you how it works. As soon as... I didn't even need to test it, because it's like there's 3 in there, so you can see exactly how it works. But as soon as I saw it, I already understood what was happening because I'd gone into the hints, because I'd figured out the red and green thing on my own. I don't know if I spoke a lot during my playthrough, so I'll bring it up here. What I'd figured out is that the red one spawned on 9, but in actuality it spawned on odds. So as soon as I saw the purple and the other colors, I figured there must be a different color going through the system. I didn't know what the color was yet, but I knew there was a different color thing going on. So to me it wasn't very crazy, but there was enough happening with the bridges that it was hard, and it was actually where I figured out the hint system existed. This is also the area where I forgot about the dash button. There's one puzzle where you have to bring 2 of them across, and you have the speed thing where it slows down time. But it seemed like for these bridges, time wasn't slowed down properly, so you have to, like, dash across them. And I forgot dash existed because I never needed it to this point. So I kind of just... And then I looked at the hints and I was like, well, I'm doing that. You can't do that. I ended up having to watch somebody and realize they got across way faster than I was, and that there was a dash button. And so that... I do think those bridges are bugged. I do think they're supposed to be slower, probably. That's my guess. Because that makes sense if you have the slowing down time thing, that these ones just didn't seem like they were slowed down properly. And the next is the cemetery. First, I love the concept of the ghost thing where you have to be, like, in the light, and if you can see stuff in the light, then you can pick it up. Oh my god. And to get the acorn thing, I didn't understand why I was getting the acorn, but to get it was so cool and fun. Like, it was so fun to figure it out. It took me 2 times to figure it out, but it was so fun. The only thing I hated about it was that you couldn't hold R again to reset. You had to go off screen, and that really annoyed me. I didn't enjoy that. Every time I was dead, I was like, now I have to walk off screen. Like, it seems so minimal, but to me it was just like the one thing in the whole game really that just really irked me. And then the puzzles in there were really cool, where you had to like help the ghosts with what they want, give the ghosts what they wanted to like basically rest, so you could get into their fire areas, and that was really cool. Next is the desert area. Typically, I'm not a big fan of desert areas just because like they're the least pretty in my opinion. Usually they're usually the least exciting because like there's the least amount of stuff to do, really. When I first saw the pixelated areas, I thought it was going to be like some, what's that game called? I thought it was going to be like a glitch in the game, is what I thought it was going to be, like a glitch in the world. Like, that it was going to be like, this is actually like, it's a video game. Like, I don't know how to explain that any better than that. There was another indie game that would have explained it well, but I can't remember the name of it. It was like a card game. You find a thing, and it's like, man, I wish I could speak this language, and I didn't even go to the hint system. I just went straight to my languages and changed my language. I didn't look at it before. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my god, how cool! That's so cool! And then the Lost Forest. Because I'd watched Alexa, I had an idea of the Lost Forest. I didn't realize how cool it was. So, because I had an idea of a lot of it when I went into it, because Alexa was there and I was figuring things out as he was there, that he didn't figure out. He probably figured it out by now if he played it again. But I figured it out. I figured out a lot of the puzzles while I was watching it. It was like if you watch the playthrough, you'll notice I figured out the lock system of the yellow locks really fast. That's because I watched Alexa play, and though he hadn't figured it out, I figured it out really fast. And so from that, I already knew what to do with it. Well, to an extent. I didn't know you could place objects in it when I first watched. I just knew you could die in it. But whatever. Anyways. And then the time glasses. Oh my god. It was so cool. I would not have figured out how to get to the hourglass without the hints. That one, like, it makes sense when you really think about it. Like, and there's a word thing right at the beginning when you enter the thing that's like, what is it? Actually, I have oh no, I threw my notes. There's a spider on it. It was like something about the past can see the future, but can the future see the present? And that was the hint that you needed to give the goggles back to your old self so that they could see you. Or it was like the future can see the past, but can the past see the present? And that's the hint that you need to give the time goggles back to your old self so that they can help you with the puzzle. Because I kept walking in front of him, like, come here, look, puzzle, here, walk, like I did, come here. I didn't get it. But it was so cool watching all of myself, like, go through it. Oh, what a cool way to do that. So, then we go back to the castle for a second time. And immediately, I used the hint system even though I technically didn't need it. Because I dreaded going back for those keys. I really didn't want to go back for the keys. Specifically the red key. I had a hard time with the red key. I did not want to go back for it. It wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to have to do all the puzzles again to get to the red key. You don't. It's like, you take one. Because you have so many extra turns, you just get to go, basically. But because you can speed up time now, you're able to just go. And it's way easier. I loved it way more. It was way cooler. And the blue notes really threw me for a loop. And I kind of wish they were in an easier spot to get to. Because it didn't take me until I'd kind of lost access to the area, realizing that I needed it. And I didn't have a picture or anything to be able to go read them. So I ended up having to do a lot of backtracking to go see it. And then I figured out the clue to the blue puzzle. Of course, then I get to the end of the game. I said that kind of out of order. I did the blue puzzle before. I did the end game before the puzzle, but the puzzle's a bit more relevant to it, I guess. And the thing with the Chrono Pass, where it's just what loop you're on. I figured that out without hints as well. That seemed really obvious to me, that because I looked and he was like, oh, this one is this, blah, blah, blah. Now, I hadn't realized it was the loops. I just figured it probably went up with every loop, if it's changing every loop, because it would be really tough to do random numbers. So it's probably just going up. So I went in, I guessed it, and then I was like, oh, I wonder if this is my loop, and it was. And then there's the ending. The first time you play, probably. Probably, because I don't know how you would do it if you, no, you wouldn't be able to do it on your first try. Anyways. So, first time you end the game, Mortos comes out, and he's like, ha ha ha. I'm gonna say I did it in 400 attempts, just to make it easy. I've been here for the last 494 tries, or something like that. And as soon as he said that, my mind went, oh, so he wasn't here for the first 5 loops that I was playing the game. That's what that means. And the cutscene kept going. Of course, everything happened. And then at the end of the game, you get to the end of the credits, and it says, you have to drop something to gain something. And I go back in, and I open my map to, like, see if I've missed any areas, first of all. And in the back of my mind, very tiny voice that's going, you have to restart the game. And my mind's like, I refuse. So I look at the map, and I'm like, oh, what if I use Garen's ghost to, like, go in the middle of them and fight him? No. But that felt really wrong, because that would be so much backtracking, and I feel like you could lose a lot of people that way. So it felt wrong. But restarting it felt, so then the restarting voice kind of got louder and louder in my head, and I was like, okay, what if it is? Because he wasn't there for the first 5 loops I did, and I know how to get there way faster now. Can I really do it in 5 loops? So I go to the hint tab, because I really don't want to because I know for a fact there's no, like, different little save file thing, right? It's one save file. So you delete your save to restart. And I'm just like, no. And so I click on the first hint. It's telling me to restart the game. No, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm just reading too hard into this? Because I had done that before. I click the second hint. No, this feels like pretty obvious. I should restart the game. And then the last hint just says number 5. And I'm like, yeah, no, I actually think I am thinking too much into this. Maybe there is something I missed. Because the number 5 actually really threw me for, it just, like, I was really confused. So I restart it, and I fuck up. So I restart it, and I fuck up. And I restart it, and I fuck up. And then I realize I need something that I don't have, so I have to restart it again. And I'm like, there's no way I can do it in this many terms if I have to restart for this item. It actually made me go way faster. Because you have to go for the lock first. And, because you need it to be able to get to the back and stuff. And, because you need it, because the second last run I did, I basically got to the Chrono Pass and forgot that the chains were a thing, because you can just reset. So it's really hard to remember things like that. So when I couldn't reset because I'd lose it, I was like, oh, I have to restart the game again. And then I did it. And I was super proud. And that was the coolest game. Like, that was just so cool. And I just sat there, pretty much repeating, that's so cool. And I felt so happy. And I was like calling my parents, like, oh my god. But anyway, that's that. You should play it. It's so cool. And how much is it? I'm still on the Steam page. It was only, so I don't know how much it is for anyone else, but for me, in Canadian dollars, it was only $13. $13! That's it? I mean, it's a good price to get, like, people to try your game if you don't have very many games, because, like, $13 isn't a whole lot. It's easier to spend. But if I'm being honest, it felt more like it should be at least $20 to me. That very much felt like a $20 game, at least. I'm actually really shocked it's $13. I really thought I had paid $20 for it. I think they're undercharging a little bit. Because that $13 for that? I feel like it's worth more than $13. Oh, and in case you're curious, as someone who is bad at puzzles and did have to take breaks because I have a bird that can't fly, so I had to go help him for a little bit, and I had to take bathroom breaks and stuff. And I didn't quit the game to go to the bathroom. It took me about 8.4 hours to play to finish the whole game. And I got true endings. Like, I really did do the whole game. I missed 3 achievements that I'm not going to say. Well, I can say them, I guess, because this is the spoiler section. So I missed 3 achievements, and the 3 achievements were... son sees mom. I don't even know how you do that. The promotion. I wish I'd known that. That sounds so fun, but I'm not going back in. I already deleted the game. Red failed. He basically missed to kill you, which, yeah, no. I was really bad at that. But yeah, it was just such a cool game. I loved it. And I guess the saddest thing is I'm not a very big channel, and because I can see my stats, I know a lot of people don't watch these videos. And I wish there was a way I could get this out to more people, because it's such a good game, and it deserves more reviews, because it's so good. Anyways, that's my review. I gotta go feed horses now, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye!